Citizens in Texas are outraged right now because a sheriff in San Jacinto County in Texas, whose name is Greg Capers, is accused by his own deputies of corruption and dysfunction, whereas there was no training on basic police work, whereas you had a mass shooting. And this man lied about the police response time to that mass shooting, and he was more focused on civil forfeitures, according to his own deputies. And the alleged shooter, whose name is Francisco Oropeza, had evaded hundreds of officers after he allegedly took out 5 neighbors when they complained that his late night shooting was keeping their baby awake. And this man claimed that law enforcement arrived within 11 minutes, but it turns out it was almost 4 times as long for a response time. And former deputies have said that the reason why that mass shooter wasn't stopped is that the sheriff was more focused on boosting civil asset forfeitures and seizing people's money when they haven't been charged with an actual crime. Perhaps if this sheriff was more focused on stopping mass shooters, that mass shooter could have been stopped. But instead, this man would lie and say that, well, law enforcement arrived within 11 minutes, but it turns out it took 4 times as long. What in the world is going on with law enforcement in Texas, where you have mass shooters and the cowardly law enforcement officers don't respond, but instead they will target innocent civilians who have committed no crime and take their money? And back in 2020, the county paid out $240,000 to settle a whistleblower's lawsuit that accused Capers of a bunch of misconduct. And last year, county leaders hired a police consulting firm to examine the sheriff's office, but disregarded its recommendation to have the Texas Rangers Public Corruption Squad investigate. You had a private firm who specializes in police operations who said, hey, these guys are so screwed up that we have to have the Texas Rangers look into them. And there's even evidence to suggest that this sheriff is going around scaring citizens and inflicting fear upon citizens when he takes their property with civil forfeitures. And there's also some evidence that shows that this man does not follow up on crimes, including essays and also abuse of kids. This sheriff should not be in office, but I guarantee you Blue Lives Matter will say nothing, even though it's sheriff deputies who are coming out against this sheriff. There was a mass shooter that this sheriff lied about in terms of reaction time, and this man did not stop this mass shooter because he's too focused on robbing the citizens. Wow, Blue Lives Matter, is this your man's?